Hey guys, this is the seminar for Learning Plan 2. It's going to be a little short because, as I told you guys before, I do not have access to the textbook, and actually Christina is going to mail it to me. I don't know why I can't get a hold of the textbook, so it's kind of a challenge to find good scholarly research that I want to pass on to you guys without the textbook. So anyway, and thank you guys for being patient. As you know, we had a hurricane here, and it has caused massive flooding at this point. And with the tragedy that happened last weekend, it's really kind of been hard to concentrate. And so, thank you guys for being patient with me, and let's begin. Okay, so this learning plan is designed to review some of the key developments in organizational behavior that have brought us to present, and to consider some key challenges facing organizations today. This will help set a stage for thinking about and improving organizational behavior going forward. So our learning activities is you complete the assessment, 21st Century Manager. You will need the results of this assessment for discussion 2. Read Chapter 2 in Organizational Behavior. Review the Chapter 2 PowerPoint presentation. And you're going to construct a bibliography. As you're researching the company you selected for your research paper, begin developing a bibliography that will be useful in writing the final paper. You're also going to watch the YouTube video, Organizational Behavior. You're going to participate in discussion 2. And you're going to view the LP2 seminar, which you're doing now. It's going to be really short. And you're going to complete the LP2 quiz. Let's see. So, the assignment will assess competency, develop organizational culture and structure. So as you guys know, you've got a semester-long project that will ultimately be a final paper for the very end. You're going to identify the organization that you plan to use for the project, which one of you have already done. There's only a couple of people in this class, so the discussions are going to kind of be difficult, but we'll just try to throw questions out there and kind of keep the communication lines open so we meet the attendance requirements. So you're also going to read organizational behavior. You're going to click on that link on the classroom and look at the final paper outline. And competency. So we're going to examine the history of the organizational behavior. We're going to interpret the science of conventional organizational behavior and sustainable organizational behavior. You're going to analyze stakeholder analysis from the conventional organizational behavior and sustainable organizational behavior perspectives. And you're going to compare various approaches to working in cultures from the conventional versus the sustainable perspective. So when we look at organizational behavior, it's a study and the application of knowledge about how people, individuals, and groups act in organizations. It does this by taking a system approach. It interprets people-organizational relationships in terms of a whole person, a whole group, a whole organization, and a whole social system. Its purpose is to build better relationships by achieving human objectives, organizational objectives, and social objectives. And I can tell you guys, organizational behavior is very imperative. It's an imperative study to recognize in organizations. I say all the time, one bad apple can spoil a bunch, and it can. And, it goes back to some of the psychological testing that you guys done last learning plan. And for me, one of the biggest challenges is when I'm forming a team, how do I make sure the right personalities that go together? And by studying organizational behavior and studying some of the psychology behind that, it really does help figure it out. So the history of it traces back to Max Weber. He was a sociologist. And after the First World War, the focus of organizational studies shifted to the analysis of how human behaviors and psychology affected organizations, a transformation propelled by the identification of the Hawthorne effect. The influence of psychology and social psychology on organizational behavior was through this human relations movement focused on teams' motivation and the actualization of goals of individuals within the organizations. And some of these early scholars you can see listed here. I can tell you I've done extensive research on Hertzberg and Maslow. So remember these names, pay close attention to them, because what we're going to do for this seminar assessment is going to be related to these scholars. So when we talk about conventional organizational behavior, it's an objective for things that are normal, ordinary, and following the accepted way. Pretty much ho-hum. You can see where I pulled this definition of conventional. So when we look at sustainable, it demands changes in human behavior. To this end, priority areas include reforming formal institutions, strengthening the institutions of civil society, improving citizen engagement, curbing consumption and population growth, and addressing social justice issues, and reflecting on value and belief systems. And I pulled this from the Stanford EDU website. I just tried to find different, maybe so-called definitions for these things for you guys. And like I said, I don't have the textbook, so I can't see what the textbook has in it. So for this seminar assessment, we're going to keep it really simple and short. I just want you to look at the theories of organizational behavior from some of the other early scholars. So what I want you to do is discuss at least 2 theories from 2 different scholars. It's pretty simple. Keep it at a minimum. It's a minimum word requirement. Please no more than 500 words. But just kind of talk about the different theories from the different scholars, the early ones, and some of those I listed for you, and you might can find some others. But anyway, guys, thank you for your patience. It's been a trying time the last couple of weeks, but we'll get back on track, and I'm working on grades today and tomorrow, so I will have those done tomorrow night if my internet holds up. So luckily I got the internet back this morning. But thanks, guys, and if you need me, I'm a phone call away or an email away.